See, UFT test process, roadmap for our program. First I will index the concepts, then we will discuss each and every concept in detailed manner. This is only roadmap. See, first phase in UFT test process, planning. See, avoid the noise, some noise from your side, avoid. Planning. See, in this planning phase, what are the important tasks? Initial task, get environment details from development team. Why environment details? To select appropriate add-ins. See, get environment details. From development team. Here what are the important details? Our tool is object-based test tool. So first get UI design technology, user interface design technology, and a database. In order to create a database connection strings, database information also required. And select appropriate add-ins. Add-ins for our AUT. Application under test. See, here two important things. One is UI design technology. Why UI design technology? Hello?
Yes.
Why UI design technology?
Yes, sir.
UFT is object-based test tool, na? Based on front-end object, it supports test operations. So first we need to get this UI design technology. Why UI design technology? For selecting add-ins.
Oh, okay.
Next, why database information? To create database connection strings. First we have to connect to database, na?
Yes.
So connection string required. SQL Server connection string is different. Oracle connection string is different. To create database connection string. Okay. For Selenium also environment details required.
Actually, I have one question on that. UI design technology. Because I haven't worked in totally automation environment. So you think, I mean, who determines that which design technology will be used? The development team?
Development team only.
Okay.
They develop, na? Development.
I mean the language they are using.
Language, any other things. See, development team can give the details of UI design technology and database. Next, see, this is initial task. Next task, UFT Installation Deployment. See, generally network administrators or system administrators perform this task. If it is small or medium level company, as a test engineer, you also involve in this deployment. And one more thing, UFT deployment is very simple. It is vendor tool. HP provides complete runtime environment also. If you install UFT tool, all things can be installed. You no need to install Vbscript separately, other things separately. If you install UFT tool, all required things can be installed, isn't it? For example, Selenium. Selenium deployment is some difficult than UFT tool. Why? Selenium is open source software. UFT is single tool, but Selenium is set of tools for supporting test automation. First, you need to download Java and install. Next, Java, Eclipse or any IDE for supporting Java. Next, Selenium WebDriver or Selenium RC interface. Suppose if you want to recording tests, if you want to record tests, Selenium IDE. Suppose you don't want to record tests, you directly write test scripts, then download Selenium WebDriver interface and deploy. See, which one is difficult, UFT deployment or Selenium deployment?
Selenium deployment.
Why?
Because there are so many installers. I mean, installation.
UFT is vendor tool. Vendor provides complete runtime environment. But Selenium is open source. We need to download and install all components, all required components. Okay.
Okay.
Next, analyze. See, major challenge in functional test automation, object identification. If tool can recognize all of our application front-end objects, then automation is very simple. Using tool features and script features, we can automate easily. Analyzing the AUT, application under test, in terms of object identification. What is the major challenge in functional test automation? Object identification. Say how to analyze, that we will discuss in practical chapters. Just brief introduction. Using recording feature we can analyze. First record some scenarios and playback. If tool is playing back properly, then you can identify. Otherwise, some solutions required. The best method for analyzing the AUT is recording. Okay.
Okay.
Use record and playback features for analyzing the AUT. Others also there. Use object spy. Use view options in object repository. That we will discuss in practical chapters. Say recording feature, object spy. Next, view options in object repository. What is the advantage of view options? Mapping objects in between object repository and AUT. Tell me.
Okay. What does AUT, I mean, application under test, but what does it specifically signifies? Like when the application is running, what does it, when you say?
See, application under test is generic term. What application we select for automation, that is application under test.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Okay. Next, how to analyze the AUT in UFT?
For record and playback and objects spy.
Using record and playback features. Next, using object spy. Next, using
view
options in object repository.
View
options in object repository. What is the purpose of view options in object repository? Mapping objects in between application under test and object repository. Application versus object repository. Okay. In case of Selenium also, we need to analyze the AUT.
Okay.
Next, select tests for automation. See here, no restrictions, no limitations. Generally, 100% test automation is impractical. We try to automate maximum tests. No limitations and no recommendations from vendor side. Generally, we try to automate 3 important scenarios. First type, tests that can be executed on every build.
Okay.
Every build, software build. What type of tests? Sanity tests. See, if it is manual testing, every time taking process now. If it is automation, once you design tests, that can be executed multiple times. Tool can execute. Human user interaction not mandatory for execution. For test design, human user interaction mandatory. For test execution, user interaction optional. Isn't it?
Yes.
If it is manual testing, for each and every test case execution, user interaction is mandatory.
Yeah. Yes.
Next, tests that can be executed on every modified build. Every modified build. Regression tests. Next, tests that can be executed using multiple sets of test data. Multiple sets of test data. What type of tests? Term is there. Automation term.
Multiple sets of data.
Data driven tests.
Sanity regression. Okay.
Data driven tests. Actually, these 3 types of tests can be automated, but no restrictions, no limitations. Tell me what type of tests can be what type of tests can be automated? 3 categories we discussed. Hello?
I was muted, sorry. Sanity test, regression and data driven.
Data driven. Next, tool settings. Tool settings configuration. See, tool settings configuration and globalize. Tool settings configuration and globalize. See, you take any software, you can find 2 types of features. One is constant features or fixed features. Another is configurable features. Constant features, configurable features. Constant features that we have to use as it is. Configurable features, we can configure according to our needs. Getting this point? Constant features, configurable features. In our UFT also, you unmute it permanently, no problem. In our in our UFT also, some configurable features available. First, we need to configure according to our project. Have any idea what are the important configurable features available in UFT?
No, not really, sir.
Okay, okay, cool. See, object identification configuration. Next, test settings configuration. Next, tool options configuration, etc. See, first we need to configure all configurable features. Constant features that we have to use as it is. Example, object repository constant feature, step generator constant feature, objects by constant feature, data table constant feature. Okay. Okay. Configuration okay. Tool settings configuration okay. What is globalize? Providing common configuration for all missions in a project. For example, we are using 3 missions for our project. 3 test engineers, 3 missions. For that we have to globalize. Why? Why globalizing tool settings? Suppose as a test lead or team lead, I configured settings in my mission. How can all team members get the same configurations? The tool UFT has limitations. UFT is not client server application. See, basically UFT is one tier application. Say, I forgot one concept in UFT product information. Observe. Product information. One more point. UFT is one tier application. UFT also software. One tier application. Otherwise you can say standalone application. It doesn't have any database. Then how it stores its resources? It stores its resources using file format on physical hard disk. See, UFT uses some resources. Example, shared object repository files, function library files, environment variable files, etc. See, we create and use some resource files during test automation. How UFT stores its resource files? Using file format. See, data has 2 types of format. Old one, file format. Next, table format. UFT doesn't have any database. Suppose ALM, formerly Quality Center, it has database, SQL Server. It stores its resources using tabular format and backend database. But UFT doesn't have any database. Getting this point?
Yes, I got this point.
UFT doesn't have any database. It is one tier application, standalone application. Then how UFT stores its resource files? Using file format on physical hard disk. Okay. Come to mainstream. Why globalizing tool settings? Why globalize tool settings? UFT is one tier application. We cannot share services. We need to globalize manually. How to globalize, that we will discuss in tool administration chapter. Getting this point? Why globalize tool settings?
Yes.
UFT, since UFT is a one tier application, it doesn't have any database. It doesn't have client server architecture. It is standalone application. See, for providing common configuration for all missions in our project, we need to globalize tool settings. Any confusion?
No confusion.
Suppose, for example, ALM, formerly Quality Center. You no need to globalize settings. Why? It has client-server architecture. If you perform settings at server end, all clients can access same settings. Okay?
Okay, I got it.
Next, actually these are the important tasks in planning phase. One more task also there that is not mandatory but important nowadays. Important. That is automation framework implementation. Automation framework implementation. Have any idea what is automation framework? Head this term?
I have heard on, I have read on like data-driven framework, linear program,
keyword-driven framework, hybrid framework, etc.
Yeah.
See, it is a systematic approach to automate software test process. It is optional but important. These are the important tasks in planning phase of UFT test process. See once again, what are the important tasks in planning phase of UFT test process? Nearly I discussed 5 important tasks. First one, initial task. Get environment details from development team and select appropriate add-ins. Second one, UFT tool deployment. Next, analyze the AUT in terms of object identification. Next, select tests for automation. Next, tool settings, configuration and globalize. Next, automation framework implementation. This is the brief introduction about planning phase. In practical chapters, you can get more clarity. Any queries in this planning phase?
No queries, sir.
Cool. Second one, second phase in UFT test process, test design. Actually in manual testing, test design single phase. Here test design divided into two subphases. First one, generating basic tests. Generating basic tests. Next, enhancing tests. See, generating basic tests means creating plain navigation. Generating basic tests very simple. Plain navigation. Enhancing tests, some time taking and difficult process. What is the what is enhancing tests? Based on our requirements, inserting verification points, adding comments, parameterization, synchronization if required. Next, error handling, etc. See, generating basic tests, just creating plain navigation. Enhancing tests, inserting verification points, adding comments, error handling, etc. based on our test requirements. See, first, generating basic tests. Tell me, how to generate tests in UFT? Have any idea? How to create tests in UFT? Don't have any idea?
Like open the browser.
Okay, forget about open browser, everything. How to generate? Recording is there now?
Oh, record and playback, yeah, yes.
Playback is execution. First, generating tests only.
Okay, recording.
Say, in UFT, we have two methods for generating basic tests. In a high level orientation, we have two methods. One is object repository based test design. Object repository based test design. Another is non-repository, without repository, that is descriptive programming. Heard this term, descriptive programming?
Yes, yes, I have heard.
Generating tests without object repository, providing objects information directly in the statements, providing objects information directly in test scripts only. Okay. Another name of this one, programmatic descriptions. Okay. First, object repository. Anyhow, it is only roadmap. Object repository based test design. Again, in object repository based test design, we have two methods. First one, recording. Recording uses local repositories. First one, recording. You navigate your application, then UFT generates statements for corresponding steps. Later you can play back. Recording. Another method without recording. The term is keyword driven methodology, means generating tests manually without recording. Generating tests manually using shared object repositories. Term is keyword driven methodology. Keyword driven methodology means generating tests manually. You can type generating tests manually using shared object repositories. Getting this one? Object repository based test design, again two types na. One is recording, another is without recording.
Yeah, okay.
Next, descriptive programming, okay. Also two types. One is static programming. Another is dynamic programming. Okay. Next, UFT supports hybrid approach also. Hybrid means some tests using object repository, remaining tests using descriptive programming. For example, in our project, 100 tests. Use object repository based test design for 50 tests. Not only 50, for 70 also. For remaining tests, you can use descriptive programming. Getting this point?
Yes, sir.
See.
I'm getting. Yes, sir.
Suppose in our project 100 tests. Use object repository based test design for 100 tests. Otherwise, use descriptive programming for 100 tests. Otherwise, use object repository for some tests. Use descriptive programming for remaining tests. So UFT supports hybrid approach. Here hybrid means object repository based and descriptive remaining descriptive programming. Now tell me how to generate tests in UFT.
My one is recording.
First, high level. Recording is sub. Observe.
Object repository.
Two methods. Object repository based test design. Next, descriptive programming. Next, again in object repository based test design, two sub methods. One is recording. Another is without recording. Means keyword-driven methodology, generating tests manually using shared repositories. Next, descriptive programming. And in descriptive programming also we have two methods. One is static programming, another is dynamic programming. What is static programming, what is dynamic programming, that we will discuss in descriptive programming chapter. Okay. Next, UFT supports hybrid approach also. What is hybrid approach?
Hybrid approach is, mixture of both the
use object repository for some tests and use descriptive programming for remaining tests. Okay. Next, in Selenium also recording feature is there. In Selenium, two methods. One is recording, another is write scripts manually, write statements manually. For recording, IDE is there, Selenium IDE. For writing scripts directly, you can use Selenium WebDriver. In Selenium also two methods. Okay. Next, anyhow, generating basic tests, simple, routine tasks. Next, enhancing tests. See, before discussing enhancing methods, one suggestion, recommendation. A recommendation is try to use Vbscript features. Increase the usage of Vbscript features. Observe, for creating tests, tool features only available. Already we discussed. UFT tool only recognizes objects. See, descriptive programming, somebody feeling descriptive programming belongs to Vbscript. No. Syntax might be in Vbscript. Recorded script syntax also in Vbscript. But who recognizes objects? UFT tool only. UFT tool only. Vbscript doesn't recognize objects. But for enhancing tests, you can use either tool features or script features. For enhancing tests, you can use either tool features or script features. For example, if you want to insert verification point, you can use tool feature checkpoint. Otherwise, script feature, conditional statements. But here our recommendation is try to use increase the usage of Vbscript features for enhancing tests. Why? Reasons. First reason, script features are faster in execution. See, Vbscript features are faster in execution.
Okay.
For example, if you want to insert verification point, if you select tool feature checkpoint, tool has to create some internal registry files and maintain. Some burden on UFT tool. If you want to use conditional statements, if we use conditional statements, no burden on UFT tool. Vbscript features are faster in execution than tool features. Next, tool features may corrupt, may not corrupt, but there is a possibility. But Vbscript features won't corrupt.
Okay.
Vbscript features won't corrupt. Next, tool features have limitations, but scripting logic doesn't have any limitations. Tool features, ready-made environments have limitations. What are the limitations that we will discuss in practical chapters? One small example, if you want to measure test transaction time, tool feature, transaction points is there. If we use transaction points, it passes the time in seconds to UFT result window only. You can't export that value to external files. If we use Vbscript feature timer function instead of transaction points, you can pass the value to result window, you can export the value to external files. No limitations. Getting this point? Tool features, ready-made features have limitations. But programming logic doesn't have any limitations. See. Script features have no limitations or less limitation. Next, any other? Why we need to use Vbscript features for enhancing tests? Say, all script features can be used internally as well as externally. But some tool features, not all, but some tool features can't be used externally. What is external use? I will explain. See, all Vbscript features can be used internally as well as externally. See, internal use means in practical chapters I will show that the usage. Brief idea. Internal use means accessing features from UFT tool editor. External use means accessing features from external library files. See, these are the reasons. Can you tell me the reasons why we need to increase the usage of Vbscript features for enhancing tests?
Vbscript features are faster in execution. Vbscript features do not corrupt. And they have no limitations. And they can be used externally and internally.
Yes. Okay. Next, come to mainstream enhancing tests. See, we have several methods for enhancing tests. We have tool features as well as script features. Try to increase the usage of script features. Okay. And one more thing, these enhancing methods are independent methods. Here no sequence, no dependencies, all are independent things. Checkpoints purpose is different, output values purpose is different, parameterization is different, synchronization is different. Here no sequence, no dependency. See, important features. Enhancement. For enhancement, inserting checkpoints. See, in our UFT we have 9 plus 3, 12 checkpoints available. It is tool feature. Why 9 plus 3? 9 checkpoints, direct checkpoints, 3 checkpoints hidden. That we will discuss in practical chapter. Inserting checkpoints. Checkpoint, it is a verification point. Takes expected result from the user and compares with the actual results during execution and provides test result. Next, what is the alternate for this one? You can use conditional statements.
Okay.
Inserting checkpoints. Next, inserting output values. It captures output during execution and stores in runtime data table. It captures output during execution. And what is the advantage that we will discuss in output values chapter?
Okay.
This is also UFT tool feature.
Okay.
Next, inserting transaction points. Say basically UFT is object based test tool. Next, functional and regression test tool. It is for functional and regression testing, but it supports little bit performance testing, not like load runner. 1000 users, 10,000 users, only per user, single user. This inserting transaction points feature, this feature is related to performance testing. We can measure test transaction time or part of the test transaction time using this feature. For example, login functionality is there. After entering valid username and password, login is providing next page or not. That is functional test. How much time that login is taking for execution? That is performance test, isn't it?
Yes.
See, this transaction point feature supports performance testing, not like load runner, only for single user. Using transaction points, here start and end. Start and end transaction points, we can measure test transaction time. Entire test transaction time or part of the test transaction time. Getting?
Yes.
See, alternate, instead of this transaction points, we can use timer function, built-in function of Vbscript. It is Vbscript feature.
Okay.
Transaction points, UFT tool feature.
Okay.
What is the purpose of transaction points?
To test the performance testing.
For measuring test transaction time or part of the test transaction time or both. Okay. Next, inserting flow control statements. Inserting flow control statements. Flow control statements belongs to UFT or Vbscript?
UFT?
UFT. Flow control, programming term.
Okay, Vbscript.
Vbscript. See, brief idea. We have two types of flow control statements. One is conditional statements. Another is loop statements. You take any programming language or scripting language, you can find these two types of statements. Common. Syntax may vary from one language to another. Statements. First, conditional statements. See, we have two types of conditional statements in Vbscript. Two types of conditional statements. Have any idea?
Context, no.
One is if statement.
If and case statement.
And if. Say in if other flavors also there that we will discuss in Conditional Statements chapter. Else if, nested if, all are flavors of if statement only. Next.
Is it case?
Select case.
Okay.
Select case statement. In C language, switch case. Here, select case. In Java also switch case.
Okay.
Same, select case. Next, loop statements. See, in Vbscript we have 4 loop structures for repetitive execution. 4 loop structures. One is for loop, for starting keyword, for just indexing the concepts. Later we will discuss each and every concept in detailed manner with practicals. For loop, starting keyword for, end keyword next, for next loop. Any idea what are the remaining loops in Vbscript?
Do loop?
Yes. Do loop. Here 2 different structures. We can use either while or until. Any one, not both. Either do while loop one structure, do until loop another structure. Quite opposite. Next, while wend. While wend. Next, enhanced for loop, that is for each loop. For each next. See, in Java also enhanced for loop is there. Here no enhanced for loop concept. For each loop, for each next. Say for first 3 loops, we use first 3 loops for our automation. Last loop rare use or no use. For first 3 loops we use scalar variables. For last loop we use array variable.
Okay.
And one more thing, conditional statements general purpose is okay. What is the purpose of conditional statements in our test automation? Purpose of conditional statements in our test automation. 2 important advantages. First one, to insert verification points. Second one, for error handling. To insert verification points and for error handling. Next, purpose of loop statements. Repetitive execution. We can use loop statements for parameterization. Getting? Next. Generating steps. Step or statement. Synonyms. Generating steps using step generator. See, step generator UFT tool feature, but Vbscript contribution also there. What is the purpose of step generator? It is UFT tool feature. What is the purpose? It is used to generate recordable and non-recordable steps. Remember, see, we can't record all types of scenarios. Getting this point, recording has some limitations.
Yes.
Cannot record all types of navigations, isn't it?
Yes.
Using step generator, we can generate non-recordable steps also. See, step generator, it is used to generate recordable and non-recordable steps.
Okay.
Recordable steps, okay. What are non-recordable steps? For example, operations on disabled objects. Operations on disabled objects. Suppose one button is there, disabled button. Can you record navigation on that button?
No.
No. See, examples for non-recordable steps. Operations on disabled objects. And one more thing, irregular operations. For example, edit box is there. What is the regular operation on edit box? Enter a value into edit box. Suppose value already there. I want to get that value and compare. That is irregular operation. Getting?
Yes.
Two important operations for this one, non-recordable steps. What are the two important things for non-recordable steps?
For the disabled objects.
Operations on disabled objects. Next, irregular operations. We can't generate these operations using recording. Using step generator we can generate. Next, synchronization. Synchronization. See, synchronization also global term. Global term. Not only in UFT, you can find the synchronization term in Java, Oracle also. General meaning, matching the speeds of two things. Synchronization means matching the speeds of two things. In our UFT point of view, what is synchronization? That is general term. In our UFT point of view, what is synchronization? Matching the speeds of UFT and AUT. Matching is a process of matching the speeds of UFT and AUT. Getting? What is synchronization?
Matching the speed of UFT and
AUT. Okay, why synchronization? When synchronization is required, that we will discuss. Suppose, say for each and every test synchronization is not required. Say UFT tool default synchronization time is 20 seconds. For every statement, tool can wait maximum 20 seconds. If any operation takes more than 20 seconds, there only synchronization is required. Okay?
Okay.
Say during execution, UFT gives instructions one by one with same speed. No issues with UFT tool. But application takes less time for some statements execution and more time for some statements execution. In order to keep them in sync, synchronization is required. Suppose enter a value into edit box. Application can respond quickly. Clicking on a link, application can respond quickly. Suppose uploading process, downloading process, they may take more time. Here we can't blame the application also. The type of operations take more time. Okay?
Yes.
When synchronization is required?
When you
UFT tool default synchronization time is 20 seconds. If any statement takes more than 20 seconds for execution, their synchronization is required. You remember that one? Anyhow, in practical chapter, I will explain each and everything. What is synchronization? Why synchronization? When synchronization is required? And how to synchronize? Practical.
Okay.
What, why, when, and how. Okay. For synchronization, UFT tool feature available. For example, synchronization point. Next, Vbscript feature wait statement available. Next, important one, parameterization. Parameterization. For parameterization also, we have UFT tool features for example, data table, next Vbscript features, loop statements, etc. What is parameterization? It is also general term, global term. You can find parameterization in all programming languages and scripting languages. Have any idea what is parameterization?
Yes, like I really cannot explain in words, but if you want to run, like the username password is there, so if you want to run 10 username and 10 passwords,
that is data driven testing. That is data driven testing. Parameterization not equal to data driven testing. Data driven testing is local feature. Parameterization is global feature. We use parameterization feature in data driven testing, but both are not equal. Suppose if you want to run login functionality with 10 usernames and passwords, that is data driven testing, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, parameterization means simple, replacing constant values with parameters.
Yeah.
Replacing constant values with parameters. For example, constant value means fixed value. Username, password is there. If you are using username ABCD, password XYZ, those are constant values. If you run the script 10 times, every time it uses ABCD as username, XYZ as password, isn't it? Suppose if you want to pass different values, that time you have to replace constant values with parameters. You can use variables or arguments as parameters. Getting this point?
Yes.
One difference is there in between data driven testing and parameterization. Data driven testing means passing multiple values. Parameterization means passing single value also. Parameterization, passing single value or passing multiple values.
Okay.
When we pass single values, suppose I have one function built in user defined function name login. I want to pass single value only, but every time different value. For example, I am calling that login function from 10 tests. For first test, single value, I want to use user ID 1. For second test, user ID 2. For third test, user ID 3. Passing single value, but every time different value. Suppose passing multiple values, same test, same functionality, I want to test with multiple sets of test data. That is also parameterization, data driven testing. Find the difference between these two things, parameterization and data driven testing?
Yes.
Data driven testing means passing multiple values only. Passing single value is not data driven testing, meaningless.
Okay.
Parameterization means passing single value or passing multiple values, both.
Okay.
Which one is global one? Global feature. Parameterization or data driven testing? Parameterization. Okay. See. Next. Using environment. Anyhow, parameterization chapter takes nearly 3 hours. In that chapter, I will explain all types of parameterization, using data table, using flat files, using Excel files, using database files. See, using environment variables. Have any idea about environment variables?
I know what a variable.
Okay. See, environment variables are system variables. Depends on local system operating environment. Environment variables are global. Depends on local system operating environment. Okay. What is the purpose of environment variables in our test automation? First one, centralized maintenance of variables. Second one, tests portability. What is the purpose? See, first one for centralized maintenance of variables. Next, test portability. Centralized maintenance of variables. What is centralized maintenance? Suppose in our project one variable is there called price. Variable name is price, that we have to use in multiple tests, 40 to 50 tests. On first build of software, price value 40, second build 70, third build 100. If we use local variable, what will happen? Every time you need to open each and every test and change the value. Instead of that, if you use environment variable, you no need to open any test. Just to open environment variables file, XML file, change the value that can be reflected to all associated tests. Getting this point?
Yes.
Centralized maintenance of variables. When we choose environment variables, when no need to choose. Whenever you want to use any variable in multiple tests, choose environment variables. Whenever you want to use any variable in single test, no need to choose environment variable. Why? Maintenance same. Maintenance same. Local variable or global variable. Getting?
Yes.
Next, test portability. What is test portability? Executing tests from different missions. Suppose I created 100 tests in my mission. I used application paths according to my mission. I want to execute these tests from another mission. Another mission application path is different. If you use application path directly, what will happen? You need to open each and every test and change the application path according to new mission. Instead of that, if you take that application path into environment variable, just one time modification, just open environment variables file, modify the application path according to new mission, and you can execute all tests. Getting this one?
Yes.
What is the purpose of environment variables in our test automation?
Two
advantages. What are they?
One is the one you talk about, portability.
Test portability.
Test portability. And the other one is, I don't remember the sentence, but I can.
Centralized maintenance of variables.
Yeah, centralized maintenance.
Centralized maintenance of variables. When we choose environment variables, whenever we want to use any variable in multiple tests, choose environment variables. When no need to choose environment variables?
When you want to execute only at one place, you need only one time.
Whenever you want to use any variable in single test, no need to choose. Why? Maintenance same. If it is local variable or environment variable, maintenance same. Okay? So this is about brief introduction about environment variables. Next, one more thing. Adding comments. It is optional but best practice. See, in computer programming or scripting, two important tasks. One is rule. Two important things. One is rule, syntax rule. Suppose if we enter two if statements, you must close two end if statements in Vbscript. That is rule, syntax rule. Otherwise it will show error. Next, adding comment. If you add comments, your script is readable. Otherwise, no issue. It won't show any error, isn't it?
Yeah.
Two important things. One is rule. Rule we must follow. Another is standard. Standard best practice. See, adding comments. Comments also global. You can find comments in all programming languages and scripting languages, not only in Vbscript. Syntax may vary from one language to another. Purpose same. What is the purpose of comments? One primary purpose is there and one secondary purpose also there. Tell me the purpose of comments.
I mean, comment is normally non-executing statement.
Non-executable statement, non-executable unit. Okay. Say primary purpose to make the code readable or understandable. To make the code readable. Secondary purpose to make the code disable from execution. Suppose I have 100 lines of code in my test. I want to execute only 50 lines in this iteration. You can make remaining 50 lines as comment. Suppose for next iteration I want to execute all statements. You can uncomment. Say primary purpose to make the code readable. Secondary purpose to make the code disable from execution. Okay. In comments chapter, I will explain syntax and examples. Next, any enhancing methods? Have any idea? You know UFT already you know UFT now? Any other methods for enhancing tests?
Library?
Functions.
Yeah, function.
Calling, good. Calling actions, functions. Calling actions, functions. Say both are reusable things, but actions belongs to UFT tool, functions belongs to Vbscript. Purpose same, but actions belongs to UFT, functions belongs to Vbscript. But try to use functions. Functions have more advantages. Actions some limitations that we will discuss in practical chapters. Just a minute. See, reusable components. When we choose functions or actions, whenever we want to perform same tasks again and again, we choose reusable components, isn't it?
Yes.
Whenever we want to execute same tasks multiple times, that time we prefer reusable components instead of writing the same code again and again. See, Vbscript functions, again two types that we will discuss in Vbscript chapter. Built-in functions and user-defined functions. Built-in functions limited, nearly 107 functions available in Vbscript. Our test automation point of view, 30 functions important. User-defined functions unlimited. You can create n number of functions. Okay, next. Any others? Inserting checkpoints, output values, transaction points. Next, conditional statements, loop statements, synchronization, parameterization, environment variables. One more important thing, using regular expressions. Regular expressions. See, it is also scripting feature, global feature, not only in Vbscript. You can find regular expressions in all programming languages and scripting languages, in Java, C, C++, etc. What is a regular expression? Match. What is a regular expression? Any idea?
No, sir.
No idea. What is the purpose of regular expressions? Okay. Say first, what is regular expression? A brief idea. Anyhow, in practical chapter, I will show examples. Regular expression. It is a formula for matching patterns. It is a formula for matching patterns. See, pattern matching two types. Constant matching means matching with fixed value. Next, pattern matching, matching with series. For example, I have one document in my computer called india.doc. Suppose india.doc. If I know the constant value, exact value, I can retrieve the document using exact match, india.doc. Suppose I don't know exact name, but I know that the document name starts with I. Then pattern matching. Suppose I star dot like. Then it will retrieve I series, IA series, IB series, IN series. Then you can locate your document. Getting this one?
Yeah.
See, this is constant matching. Means matching with exact value. This is pattern matching. What is a regular expression? It is a formula for matching patterns. Okay, that is general purpose. It is a formula for matching patterns. That is general. What is the purpose of regular expressions in UFT test automation? Here, two important advantages. First one, to handle dynamic objects. See, to handle dynamic objects. Next, for search operations. Say dynamic object. What is dynamic object? Any idea?
No.
Say objects different. Suppose constant object. Constant object means whose property values are fixed. Suppose OK button is there. Every time that button name is OK. That is constant object. Dynamic object. Sometimes OK, sometimes KO, sometimes ABC. See, object properties changing dynamically throughout the execution. That time recognition is problem. Using regular expressions, we can handle dynamic objects. Getting the point? Dynamic objects?
Yes.
What is dynamic object? Whose property values change dynamically throughout the execution.
Yeah, okay.
Next, one more flavor also there. Duplicate objects. Means two or more objects with same properties. Sometimes you can find same names, different objects. Suppose earlier in Yahoo homepage, news link is there. News link available in 3 or 4 areas in the same page. Link name news same. Suppose I want to click on second news link. How UFT can recognize that one? Duplicate object na? Okay. Using index property, we can handle duplicate objects. That is different thing. You forget about that. That we will discuss in descriptive programming chapter. Here, concept is handling dynamic objects. Now, tell me, what is the purpose of regular expressions in UFT?
Handling dynamic objects.
And one more purpose. For search operations.
Okay, for search operations.
See, two more things also there. Just I will index. Next, we will discuss in next class. See, next one. Using, this I have to explain more. Using automation objects. Using automation objects. Automation objects belongs to Vbscript. Next one, important one. Remember, for each and every test, all enhancing methods not required. We will discuss all enhancing methods, but for every test, all methods not required, isn't it?
Yes.
Suppose if there is no synchronization problem, that time no synchronization required for the test.
Yeah.
Suppose if you don't want to execute multiple times, no parameterization required. See, based on your requirement, based on your test requirement, you can use these features. Suppose, for example, for one test, 3 or 4 enhancing methods required. For one test, one enhancing method also enough. Based on your test requirement, you can use them, but we will discuss all methods. Getting this point?
Yes.
See, for each and all enhancing methods are not required for any test. Based on your test requirement, you can use them. Okay?
Okay.
See, most of the time, 2 or 3 enhancing methods are sufficient for test, any test. See, next, error handling. Error handling. For error handling, we have Vbscript features and tool feature also. Recovery scenarios. Heard this term? Recovery scenarios. See, this is the brief idea about enhancing test phase in UFT test process, but I didn't explain these two, automation objects and error handling. In the next class, I will explain automation objects and error handling and continue. Next phase after enhancing tests, running or executing. Running tests, running and debugging tests.
Okay.
Already I told, debugging tests optional na?
Yes.
Debugging tests optional, but running tests mandatory for every test. Otherwise, no meaning of creation of tests. Okay.
Yes.
Next, just I will explain in the next class from this feature.
Okay.
Next phase, analyzing test results. Reporting defects. See, these are the 6 phases in UFT test process. First one, planning. Second one, generating basic tests. Third one, enhancing tests. Fourth one, running and debugging tests. Fifth one, analyzing test results. Sixth one, reporting defects. See, up to fourth one, tool contribution is there, primary contribution. Analyzing test results, is it tool responsibility or user responsibility?
User.
Tool won't analyze. Tool provides necessary interface. Reporting defects?
That's we do that thing.
Okay, we'll meet
Tool
next class. Just a minute.
Okay.